Hey and welcome to my cake studio. In this video we're going to go over 9 biggest fondant mistakes that people make and how we can fix them. And stay to the end for a freebie you're going to love. Fondant is super easy to work with once you know how. It's a soft edible paste that we mainly use to cover our cakes and create simple decorations. Let's jump straight in with mistake number 1, using cheap brands. It's better to invest in more expensive brands for covering your cake to avoid issues like elephant skin or tearing. However, cheaper brands work well for decorations, covering your cake boards or dummies, keeping costs down. Mistake 2, using too much cornflour. To prevent fondant from sticking, you can use cornflour or vegetable fat. I prefer vegetable fat on my hands when I'm sculpting decorations, and a tiny amount of cornflour on the table for rolling out when you're covering a cake. However, if you have super hot hands or there's really high humidity, cornflour can help with this. Mistake 3, cracked fondant problems. One key mistake people often make is needing dry fondant back into the fresh paste. Doing this leaves you picking out lumps later, which is an absolute hassle. Make sure to remove any dried cracked fondant from the outer areas before mixing it in with the good paste. This ensures a smooth consistency for your decorating. You also want to knead your paste properly, making sure you have a really lovely smooth texture. Use the heel of your hand to press into the fondant and give it a quarter turn. Keep doing so until this forms a small ball, flip it over and you're ready to roll. Mistake 4, fondant not rolled out evenly. Rolling even fondant is crucial for covering a cake. If one side of your paste is thicker, your cake won't have straight covered sides. To roll your paste out to cover a board or cake, start with this lovely ball we've just created. Use a non-stick rolling pin, roll up and down and then quarter turn. Repeat until it reaches your desired thickness. This ensures it's the same thickness all over. Mistake 5, cutting fondant shapes incorrectly. So first of all, if you wanted to create a long strip, roll a sausage shape and then roll down the length. Make sure the paste is slightly stuck to a non-stick board before cutting with a blade. This will hold it in place, allowing you to cut nicer straight lines. Now I do this when I'm cutting out any shape freehand with a craft knife. To roll out fondant to cut out shapes using metal or plastic cutters, roll your paste and then flip it over, as the paste underneath usually holds more moisture. Press down firmly with the cutter and wiggle it against the table to clean off those edges and then remove it. Mistake 6, fondant figures sagging and cracking. A common mistake is adding additional weight before allowing the paste to dry and not making the paste firm enough to start with. I prefer to use modelling paste for creating figures or animals, but adding a little CMC into your fondant to make it firmer works well too. Just make sure you over knead the paste with vegetable fat in your hands to add moisture back in to prevent it from cracking. Also remember to allow each part of your figure to dry before adding more weight. And use cocktail sticks to help support your models. This will stop your figures from collapsing and therefore cracking. Mistake 7, not sticking fondant properly. Sticking fondant to your cakes can be sticky, tricky business. For my top 2 tips on sticking fondant decorations with glue and without, check out the video popping up now. Mistake 8, not storing fondant correctly. To store fondant, roll it in a ball, coat it with a layer of vegetable fat and place it in a plastic bag. Remove the air, twist the bag and seal the Tupperware container. To store fondant decorations, pop them in a box and keep them dust free, and make sure you keep them in a cool, dark, dry place away from sunlight or moisture, and definitely nowhere near that fridge. Lastly, mistake 9 and your freebie I promised: not learning how to model fondant shapes. Rolling a flawless crease-free ball and creating shapes might seem basic, but it is so important for all things cake decorating. Here's that amazing freebie I mentioned. Check out the link in the description to get your 4 free cake decorating tutorials that will supercharge your cake decorating skills. It's packed out with hours of video and downloadable PDFs. If you'd like to learn to make sugar flowers and figures for your cakes, check out our community, the SugarCraft Club. I'll pop the link in the description too. Happy caking beauts, and if you found all of these tips today useful, give me a like, subscribe, hit the bell and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next video.